Hello everyone, welcome to Worldly Things. I'm your host Killjerk, and today we'll be talking about the top 10 Battlebots of 2019. And this is a lot different than the last top 10 Battlebots video I did, mainly because I'll be mostly talking about the top 10 of the top 16 robots of the recently finished 2019 season. And the criterias I'll be going over for isn't really how long they've been fighting in the competition for, but in my opinion on how far they went through, how many wins over losses they've done overall in their career, and of how many knockouts they've done in their overall wins as well. So, starting with number 10 is Yeti. Now, I'm sure some of you will be surprised about Yeti being within the top 10 of my list. But to me, their robot itself has really great potential. Oh, still. And here is the team with the current model of Yeti. Ever since its fight against Force in 2019, they decided to get rid of the Force, which is kind of a okay decision since they mostly break in the past. And they've been fighting since 2016 and are still fighting today. Their overall wins has been 11 and they've had 5 losses. But however, their knockouts have been 8 and they are just incredible. Like, according to my ratings, it gives them a pretty decent KO and win-loss scenario. And despite the fact that in the last couple seasons, they haven't gone past the Sweet 16. But they got potential of getting past there. So, number 9 is Lockjaw. Now, you folks watching this might be wondering, why would you put Lockjaw over Yeti on the top 16? Well, that's probably because of 2 things. Well, actually 3 things. One, it's driven and designed by the legendary Donald Hudson, who has won 6 giant nuts in the past. 2, even though in the first 2 seasons of the revised series, Lockjaw has done poorly, it's made up for the fact that it's not only gone past the Sweet 16 in the last couple seasons, but last season he has become the semi-finalist, losing to Minotaur, and then ended up being a quarter-finalist by losing to Force. And Lockjaw has been fighting since like 2015 until the present, and it has an sort of okay-ish win-loss record, 13/10, and so 13 wins, 10 losses, and 8 KOs, which is same number of KOs as Yeti, but however, I rate Lockjaw higher, mostly because it's managed to get further into the competition, unlike Yeti, in my opinion. So, Lockjaw is definitely number 9 in my opinion in this. Okay, moving on to number 8, we have Son of Waiachi. Yes, Son of Waiachi's number 8. And he's been my favorite robot from the original TV series to compete in the revised series. However, this is not a mistake, folks. According to Facebook, they've got rid of Sun Waiachi. Like, they sold the frame and all 3 hammers separately on eBay. And last time I checked, the frame sold for like $845, whereas I can only get the final pricing on one of the arms, and that was $225.50. Now I'm speaking in American, not Canadian dollars. Now, number 8, in my opinion, Son of Waiachi is rated number 8 because, despite having like 18 wins, 9 losses, and 16 of those wins being like knockouts, which makes it literally the highest knockout points in like all these competitors. Well, not exactly the highest, but one of the highest knockouts. It's mostly because he hasn't gone past Sweet 16 in the last 2 seasons, which is kind of pity because I thought that he had a shot this season of making it to the semifinals. Guess I was wrong. So, those are the reasons why I rate Son Waiachi number 8. So, moving on to number 7, it's Death Roll. Yes, Death Roll. The mean old croc from Australia. They first appeared in like season 2 of Battlebots back in 2016 and got its arse kicked by Captain Shredderator and in a rumble as well. However, they have managed to do a great amount of damage in the recent season of 2019. 6 wins over 3 losses in their overall Battlebots careers, and 5 of those wins were knockouts, and that's pretty impressive for a robot like this. And of course they have that self-righting arm behind it being like a Bowie knife. Some reference to a movie, I can't exactly remember what. But the reason why I rate Death Roll number 7 is because of, well, their 6 over 3 win-loss record. And also, they kind of sucked in season 2, which hurted them. And I just didn't like them that much, really, this season still. Mostly because they eliminated one of my favorite robots from the competition, and that is Minotaur. I was really ticked off when that happened. So therefore, despite having a great 5 KO record, it doesn't make up for the fact that they were absent in season 3 and having a 6-3 win-loss record. So moving on to number 6, we have Whiplash. Yes, Whiplash. Now, 2015 to present, I know what you're thinking. And they did not compete in season 1 and 2 with Whiplash. But the reason why I did 2015 to present here is mainly because they kept this robot in robo game competitions for years, and it done pretty decent, and they actually got like 10 KOs out of their 16 wins, 8 loss record between their Battlebots and robo game careers. I didn't really like how they gave it a lemony green in color, to the robot. I think it should have stuck to red, in my opinion. Like, I gave them a number 6 mostly because, well, hell, let's face it, it's a great robot when it comes to driving around stuff. It's capable of lifting other robots, and last season it managed to get into the Sweet 16 and even became a runner-up. No, not runner-up, I mean a semi-finalist, losing to the 2018 champion, Bite Force. And of course, they went up against Tombstone within the Sweet 16, and they lost in the quarterfinals, I believe. Well, I know for sure in the Sweet 16 they managed to beat Whip. No. They managed to beat Huge, but lost to Tombstone afterwards. So I guess that is quarterfinals for them. And they're rated number 6 because of their incredible driving skills, the versatility of the robot, and how they managed to stand up well in the top 16 these last couple of seasons. So moving on to number 5, we have Minotaur. Yes, my favorite drum spinner of them all, Minotaur. They've been... The team themselves, Riobots, have been competing in robot games for years, and they put in Minotaur, which was based on one of their own drum spinner robots called Toro Maximus. And in 2016, they ended up being semi-finalists, losing to Bombshell. And in 2018, however, they managed to be the season runner-ups, losing only to Bite Force. And that is a great thing for them to accomplish. And also, however, as I mentioned before, I was disappointed that they lost to Death Roll. I hate that croc for that. Like, they've been competing since 2016 to present on Battlebots. They have, like, an overall record of 15 wins over 7 losses, which is alright in my opinion. And they did, like, 11 KOs with their wins, which is really good for them. And they are possibly the best drum spinner related robot ever invented. And despite the fact they had a very rough start in 2019, they managed to come out within the Sweet 16 well, and ended up being quarterfinals. So that is why I rate them number 5 overall. So moving on, we have number 4, Hydra. I know what you're thinking. Why the heck would you put Hydra in number 4, Kill It Shark? Well, that's because, despite the fact they did not go further than being the top 16, losing to Minotaur, they were actually... Sorry about that. They were actually really great rookie robots. And they also won the Founders Award. And, of course, 2019 till present, a rookie bot. They built it to replace their Warrior Clan, aka Warrior Dragon, that they applied in the last 3 seasons of the revived Battlebots. And they decided to scrap it up and build a new, more reliable flipper robot. And that's where Hydra comes in. The name Hydra comes from the hydraulics pumping system that they put to power up the robot, and they managed to do like 4 straight wins, all 4 of them being KOs, which gives it 100% on their KO out of their wins, and they only had 1 loss to, like I said before, Minotaur. And Despite that, I rate them number 4 because of how great of a flipper bot they were, how many KOs they had in their overall wins, and I can see them getting further than the top 16 next season. And the thing is, I think they've taken the title of the king of flippers, stealing it from Bronco, mostly due to the fact that Bronco's already reached its maximum flipping power, whereas Hydra, they're just tapping in to the little bits of what it can actually do. So they can actually increase the power thanks to the hydraulics in it. So moving on to number 3, we have Witch Doctor. Yes, the 2019 runner-up. Now, they've been competing since 2013, starting in Robo Games, where they had Witch Doctor originally as a middleweight, but then in 2015 they upgraded it to a heavyweight with their little mini bot Shaman, and in 2015 and 2016 they didn't do that great. But starting in 2018 last season, they greatly improved by getting rid of Shaman to put extra armor and even a self-righting mechanism on it, and it actually performed pretty well, like managing to get into the Sweet 16 last season, but losing to Minotaur. However, this season was their best ever. They got like 4 perfect KOs before reaching the Sweet 16, and they kept going and going until, like I said before, they lost to the now 2019 champion, Fight Force. And despite that, they rate really high, and they managed to win a giant vault for the Battlebots Amazon Alexa challenge that was premiered before the actual season, which is ironic because the challenge actually takes place after the main competition. But they managed to get like 12 KOs within their 18 wins and 10 loss record. I mean, 18 wins over 10 losses doesn't sound that great, but throughout the hardships this team has gone, I'd say they really earned the number 3 spot this time. So moving on, number 2, we have Tombstone. That's right, the 2016 champion and the king of all kinetic spinners, Tombstone. And it's been competing since 2004 to this day, and it got like 19 KOs over its 28 wins and 7 loss record. It's not the highest percentage in my opinion, but it's actually done really great, despite being a simple design, and for good reason. Like, Ray Billings, or, sorry, whatever his name is, I keep forgetting his name, but his bars are just so precise. Nice. However, some of them can just break easily, just like in the rematch against Fight Force in the semifinals, and like that is probably something people have always wanted to see happen again since they fought each other in the first revived season. And at that time, Fight Force was a clamper robot, and now it's a bar spinner. And of course, Tombstone got sent in the air with half its weapon breaking and one of its sides getting knocked off. Much more devastating defeat than 2015, that's for sure. Despite the fact the robot only won the 2016 championship where I'm aware of, it's done actually a great amount of KOs over its wins and losses, and it's been serving pretty well, so I'd say he deserves a number 2 spot on this list. So, before we go to number 1, here's an honorable mention. Black Dragon. That's right, this season's Desperado tournament winners, Black Dragon. Like, these guys, they managed to beat the stuffing out of Minotaur in Desperado tournament, which I kinda wasn't happy about. Like, I mean, they got a pretty good robot. Despite some reliability issues, they got a really good robot here. Like, they got this egg beater style drum spinner here with like a bit of a wedge. It's kind of like a combination of Brutus and maybe Railgun Max, maybe. Like, they have a pretty decent record this season. Like, 4 wins over like 2 losses, and like 3 of those wins being knockouts. And they, despite the fact they have a pretty okay record, it just doesn't put them well enough onto the top 10 of this list, in my opinion. So that's my honorable mention. So number 1 is Bite Force. Surprise, surprise! Bite Force is number 1 on the top 10 Battlebots of the Sweet 16 this season. And he's been competing since 2015 to present. And it was originally a clamper bot, which to me fits its name better. But since season 2, it's changed to a vertical bar spinner, and its only loss so far is to Chomp with like a lucky hit on the drive tag. Now I'm sure if Bite Force had the chain drive cover like it did in like the last couple of seasons, I'm sure he wouldn't have lost that easily to Chomp. Now, this robot is really impressive. It's won like 3 out of 4 of the revive seasons so far. Like, winning in 2015, and then winning 2018 and 2019. Like, I mean, I still can't believe they're still calling it Bite Force, despite the fact it's not a clamper bot anymore. Like, maybe G-Force or something would be better, in my opinion. Like, this robot is simple in its weapon weight and high speed, but it's managed to do 19 KOs out of its 26 wins over 1 loss. So when it comes to it being like the 3-time champion and having such a nearly flawless career despite 1 loss, it's earned a spot in like the number 1 spot. So hope you all enjoyed this opinion video of mine. This has been Killed Shark on Worldly Things. This has been a Worldly Top 10s video. Hope you all enjoy it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.